we can get started. So this is the disclaimer. Basically, it's saying that we're not giving any buy, sell, hold recommendations. This is what we're only talking about is for educational purposes only. All right, so who am I? My name is David Kushner. I've been trading the markets for over 25 plus years. I trade stocks, options, futures, and Forex. My background was I had my own automotive parts business that I started when I was 18 years old. Had that business for over 28 years before I sold it in 2005. And since then, for the last 20 years, I've been a full-time trader. So like most of you have a whole shelf full of indicators and trading systems, and that came with a lot of empty promises of helping you become more profitable and more consistent. So I know that I have probably 3 or 4 hard drives full of stuff that I no longer use, that I pretty much spent a small fortune on. And I was in a webinar that Mark Sachs did, and I saw the money flow tracker software for the first time, and I quickly realized that this methodology isn't based around the same old indicators that everybody else teaches, but more based on mathematical modeling and triple and quadruple screen analysis. And I'll explain what that is in a little while. So now I only trade with institutional money flow. What do I mean by that? We only trade with institutional order flow. So when I talk about order flow or money flow, I'm only talking about institutional order flow or money flow. And that's made me much more profitable and much more consistent trader. And now I'm running over a 70% win-loss rate. Why won't this thing go away? Let's see, put this back here. Okay. All right. So the agenda for this webinar is how the money flow tracker software system works, the high probability setups, the unbreakable rules to follow, how I trade breakouts and sidestep losing trades with the money flow tracker, the auto trader, and how to pass the evaluations and become a funded trader. So if you have any questions, put them in the questions box. Either myself or Rory will answer them. So those who stay to the end of this webinar, it's about 45 minutes to an hour. We have a very special discount plus additional software as a quick action bonus. So why are you here? You're here because you're not getting the results you want yet. I say yet, right? You're not here to waste your time, and neither am I. And you're not here to waste your money, and neither am I. And you're sick of buyer's remorse. So what does that mean? It means that you buy a system, you trade with it for a little bit, you're doing well, then you hit the drawdowns, and then you say this system sucks and I'm not looking to trade with it anymore and I'm going to find something else. Believe me, I know how that is. I've done that, been there, done that, didn't even get a t-shirt, right? So when I saw the money flow tracker system for the first time 4.5 years ago, I haven't been trading with nothing else, just the money flow tracker software. So you wanted me to show you a solution to hit consistent winning trades, to have a solid trade performance that repeats daily. The markets are here for us to extract money from it every day, and it's our job to do that. So you need 4 things to create trading success. The first thing you need is software to provide you a competitive edge over all other traders. The second thing is that edge is tracking the direction of money flow, institutional money flow. The third thing is etched in stone rules to follow, and this will eliminate discretion. And the fourth thing is patience. And I believe the fourth thing is the most important thing, is patience to let the trade set up. If we don't have a setup, we don't take a trade. So I'm going to break down the money flow tracker system in detail. But before you get started, I'm going to show you a few trades that we've taken. So here's a trade. This is an options trade using a daily chart with the money flow tracker for 139%. This is another one for 188%. This is a trade that I took on 30-year bonds. 41 ticks at 31.25 a tick, $1,281. Paid for my software. Here's a trade on the euro for 56 ticks. You know, I can show you chart after chart after chart, but is that going to help you? Not really. Okay, so it's likely you have a problem making money. Most likely from the poll, most of you are having issues making money. Why? Because you don't have the proper tools to efficiently manage your trades. You overtrade, you revenge trade, you make impulsive decisions. We have to stop that one. You lack consistency. You trade with indicators that lag price, and you lack a mathematically proven trade methodology. And all these things lead to blowing up trading counts. So my commitment to you is to bring this to an end. So why do they say that 95 to 98% of traders go broke? Use the following and go broke: price action, MACD, Elliott wave, divergent signals. They work sometimes, they don't work every time. Price patterns, Fibonacci, Gann. None of these things have any future predictive properties. Now, I am not saying, and I repeat, I am not saying that money flow tracker software can predict the future, because first of all, that's ridiculous. Nothing can predict the future. All right. And I'm not going to say something that's not true, but the software does give us very high probability trades. So Mark Sachs has over 35 plus years in the study of the field of applied mathematics. He was a professor at Jefferson University, and after 8 long years, he engineered the software system and a trade methodology that can improve your trade performance. And we have over 500 traders that we trade together between our 3 trade rooms every day. So before we get started, I want to share my trade journal. Now, this is my personal trade journal. Where is it? I just had it up here. Where did you go? No, that's not it. That's not it. I know. Here it is. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and I'm going to bring this over. So this is 2025. Now, let's go back and look at my equity curve for 2025. Pretty nice equity curve. The markets have been very difficult to trade the last few months. Very difficult to trade the last few months. And if I look at here, you can see I'm running a 73.17% win rate with a profit factor of 2.75, which means for every dollar I risk, I'm making $2.75. Now, if I go back here and I look at, let's say, May, right? Look at all the days we didn't trade. Why don't I have these days in? Let's just go back here to March. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days we didn't trade. What did we do in March? $9,403. Right? Let's go to April. Right? How many days went trade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. What did we do in April? $7,600. Only trading 2 contracts. Right? So if I go here and I show you my performance by day, looks like it's shooting you the big bird here in the middle, right? Right? Now this is the last 6 months, right? Look how many winning days we've had, and look how few losing days that we've had. And our losing days are really small, usually less than 500. Alrighty? So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the point that I'm trying to make is you don't have to trade every day to make money, period. If you don't have setups, then you can't take a trade if you don't have a setup. So we show up every day and we wait for a setup. All right, so the market consists of many small retail traders represented by these marbles, plus one or more large institutional trader represented by the purple ball. So if we know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade with them? It's a never-ending cycle trading with retail traders. We only want to trade when institutional traders are trading. So the money flow tracker software has 3 key metrics that determine money flow. The first one is triple screen assessment of correlated markets using our AI engine. The next one is triple screen assessment of order flow and triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY for momentum. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? It means 3 time frame buys or 3 time frame sells. Keep it simple, keep terminology simple. People learn better when you keep things simple. So triple screen assessment is 3 time frames in agreement. All right. So triple skin assessment of order flow is the first powerful force that moves price. So I know everybody thinks about order flow candles, and you have all these candles with the numbers on the left, the numbers on the right, the numbers on the top, on the bottom, outside the candles, inside the candles, upside down, sideways, and backwards. That's what I like to say. It's impossible for you to make good trading decisions trying to figure out what these candles are doing. So what we did is we came up with our own order flow candles that make it super simple for everybody to determine order flow. So basically, if the outline of the candle is green, means the delta of that candle is positive. And if the outline of the candle is negative, is red, means the delta of the candle is negative. So what I do is I like to tell people, if I have a green outline, I know I have more buyers than sellers in the market. If I have a red outline candle, I know I have more sellers than buyers in the market. Simple as that. So triple screen assessment of order flow is, we need to see order flow going in the same direction on 3 time frames. So this is what our charts look like. And the thing that really drew me into the money flow tracker software was I only have to look at one chart, because the colored background shows us 3 time frames in agreement. And all our indicators are represented by these colored lines, except the bottom one. So the second most powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY and our hybrid candles with the wicks. So again, we want to see the LIQUIDITY going in the same direction on 3 time frames. And the wicks. So the wicks show us, and we're the only company that have the wicks inside a Renko bar, right? So when you have a wick that opens from the previous bar's close, goes up the brick size, and the next candle opens, goes up the brick size, the next candle opens, goes up the brick size, the next candle opened, went down first, and then went up and closed. This is a pullback candle, and we use these pullback candles to our advantage. So the modified LIQUIDITY. We took all these indicators, we added an algorithm to them, and we developed the modified LIQUIDITY. So the modified LIQUIDITY is an oscillator, but it doesn't show divergence like other oscillators. It just shows strength of trend. We went too far here. Okay, so ultimately, you want to see this pinned at 0 or 100. But when it crosses below 20, this line here will turn red. And when it crosses above and is sloping up, it'll turn lime green. And it crosses over 80, it will be dark green. And when it crosses back over 80 and sloping down, it will be orange. We want to trade on red or dark green. We want this pinned at 100 or pinned at 0. Oh, what happened? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so we get our acceleration dots. Okay. Now let's talk about the quant lines using our AI program. And that's the third most powerful force that moves price. So the quant lines are taking 28 market components and are examined by our AI system for correlation. Now, most people understand and know what correlation is, but most people don't pay attention to it. But we do, because it's very powerful stuff. So let's say that this is the ES, this is the NQ, this is the YM, this is the RTY. I gotta fix this slide. Fix. Okay, so let's say the ES is going down, YM, RTY, and Q are going up. What do you think is going to happen to ES? It's either probably going to stop going down and go sideways, or it's going to turn around and follow the rest of the market. So you know the old saying, a rising tide floats all boats? Well, it's kind of same in the market. When all the indexes are moving in the same direction, that's very powerful. But lately, they haven't been moving in the same direction. Friday, NQ was moving up, YM was moving down. YM was moving up, NQ was moving down. So we pay a lot of attention to that. So I decided that, you know what, we need to have a fourth time frame. 3 time frames in agreement isn't going to work for us. And so I had them develop what we call the C2 indicator. Now the C2 indicator just adds another time frame. That's all it does. So if you're trading a 2-minute, everything's in multiples of 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 3 is 18, 18 times 3 is whatever it is, okay? That would be the C2 setting. So the C2 is represented on the chart by this stair-stepping line above the candles, green going up and red going down. Any questions? Okay. So putting it all together is easier than you think. So the money flow tracker, the rules and the setups, and these are unbreakable rules, all right? The colored background means 3 time frames are in agreement. The C2 indicator means the 4th time frame is in agreement with the 3 time frames. The trend, we have 2 lines on the chart. We have the trend line and we have the 15. We always want to see the trend line above the 15 going up and below the 15 going down. If you run into an obstruction, also known as support or resistance, the VWAP, a pivot, whatever it happens to be, you must wait for 3/4 of the body to clear that pivot, and then you must wait for a pullback candle. And I'll explain to you why in a little while, right? You have to wait for that pullback candle. Both quants must be in agreement, either red or green. The multiple time frame Laguerre must be in agreement with the quants, and the modified Laguerre must be in agreement with all of them. So basically you were looking for all red or all green below you. So this setup here was 63, this was the setup, and this was 63 ticks. Now we exit when the dot dash line changes color from green to yellow or green to red. That's our exit signal. So this is what I preach and I preach and I preach to everybody. And this is what I tell everybody, even that trading with the money flow tracker rules will keep you out of choppy, non-trending markets, which most people lose money. All right? Most people lose money when the markets are chopping. Right? So we don't get setups in choppy markets. So we don't take trades. So remember, it's okay not to trade every day. It matters at the end of the month. What did you do at the end of the month? Not at the end of the week, not at the end of the day. It's the end of the month. You take everything in and you do it. Right? So this is a trade that I took on CL. And let me grab my pen here. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to work. So you can see it was coming down. Where's my mouse? Market was coming down. We got the pullback candle. We placed our order to sell on down close. We got our first target at 10 ticks. That's $100. Our next target at 55 ticks. That's $550. This trade was $650. And it didn't even take a minute. It was one of those trades that just kept going and going and going. And you can see the little wicks. Look at the momentum here. Burst down. Give us a pullback candle. Kept going. Burst down. The little wicks are bursts down. And then we exited one line change. Great trade. So the money flow tracker software gives you clear and exact entries, clear and exact exits, and you get all your targets pre-confirmed and pre-configured with your ATMs. So I'm going to teach you how I trade breakouts with the money flow tracker software, and I call this the pullback and go strategy. So let me grab my pen here. Pen color blue. Okay. So let's see. Let's get this here. All right. Okay. So you can see the market's coming down, coming down, coming down. Break the pivot. This is a pivot right here. Breaks the pivot. So I'm not going to use this thing. I can't get used to it. I have a tablet thing. writing pen, it just doesn't erase all drawings. All right, so let's just do it this way. Market's coming down, here's a pivot, right? Breaks the pivot, here's the 3/4 candle right here. We get the pullback candle. When the candle pulls back halfway or more, we place our order to sell on down close. And so why do we do this? Why do I wait for the pullback candle? Because what happens if the market's coming down, we get the pullback candle, and the pullback candle goes up like this, right? And this candle closes up. If this candle closes up, this order will automatically get canceled. Will automatically get canceled if this candle closes up. But in this case, it didn't. But when normally, when the market comes down and breaks support or resistance area, it tends to retest it, right? But what happens if this was just an old head fake and the market went up, started going up from here? So we sidestep a lot of these trades by using the pullback and go strategy. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to my normal thing here. Okay, so here's one on RTY. You see, broke the pivot, 3/4 candle, got the pullback candle, placed my order, first profit target, second profit target. So here's another on crude oil. Here's two of them on the Canadian dollar. So now we're going to talk about one of my favorite strategies, which is the money flow tracker auto trading strategy called the Revolutions, and we call it Revo for short. So what does it do? Well, it took this trade here for 704 ticks. It took this trade here for 665 ticks. And it took this trade here for 1,016 ticks. So let me go ahead and pull up let's see. Let me pull up my strategies. New strategy. It's just easier for me to show you on a live strategy window than it does on. Okay, so let me pull this down. So remember the rules that we just went over, right? Okay. Let me load my template. Let's do this one, doesn't matter. All right. So here are the rules. We want the bias in C2, so we turn it on. Now this won't wait for a pullback candle, so I have the delay 1 bar. So basically I want to see the whole bar clear the pivot. We want the Laguerre, red or green. We want the multiple time frame Laguerre, red or green. The volume threshold I don't worry about on MNQ because it usually trades plenty of volume. We want the 15 red or green, we want the 50 red or green, all right? The MA diff criteria is based off the trend line, and the MA diff is 350. Now, I'll explain to you in a few minutes what the MA diff is, all right? We want to clear the pivots, right? So we check it. We want to clear the volume zones, which are the higher time frame support resistance, so we check it. We want the quants, both red or green. Now, the first target is really important, right? So let's say we're trading this chart behind us, right? And we don't have 81 ticks to this pivot, okay? If we don't have 81 ticks here, it will not take the trade. If there's only 50 ticks, it won't take the trade. It will wait until it clears the pivot and then take the trade. All right? So that number is super important. You don't want it to trade into these numbers. All right. All right, so let's keep going. These are just the settings. You can have it come on and come off whenever you want. Can you see the screen now, Jonathan? Can everybody see the screen? Because I'm showing that it's fine. All right. So you can set it to go on and go off whenever you want. It has built-in money management. So we have a lot of traders that still have jobs and they can't sit in front of the computer every day. So this has a very high percent win rate. So I tell them, look, set your profit target for $1,000 and set your session loss for 500. So basically you're trading a 2-to-1. So either you're going to come home and you're going to be up 1,000 or more, or you're going to be down 500. Now, it doesn't close the trade. If you're in a trade and let's say you're up 1,500, it's not going to close the trade at 1,000. But when it does close that trade, it won't trade anymore for the day. Let's see. Yeah, so those are the settings. We don't use the wick entry. I don't use the wick entry. This is trade management. We do very well with this particular algorithm. Okay, so this is the equity curve from 2021. This is the equity curve from 2022. I lost all my data from 2023, but here's 2024. So last year, it did close to $44,000, just the MNQ swing. We call it the MNQ swing trade. It only trades MNQ. We use a very large bar size, and it works extremely well. I trade with it every day. So this particular trade, I had a recording on my other computer, and my other computer died. I'm getting it fixed, so I don't have the recording of this trade. But this trade here was 570 ticks. 570 ticks this trade was. So let me explain to you what the MA diff is. So the MA diff is this number right here, right? It's that number right there. So what it's doing is, what the MA diff does, it tells us how far away from the 50 are we. It's our way of telling you we're overbought or oversold. All right. The further away from the 50, so the MA diff on this particular instrument, we don't trade above 350. All right. So when this MA diff starts getting close to 350, that's when I start trailing my stop. Right? Because when the MA diff gets too high, I expect a pullback within the next 2, 3, 4 candles. And it pretty much happens most of the time. You know, when it gets too far out of the base, it reverts back to the mean. So it works really well. Where's my arrow? Normal arrow drawing. Why is it on a finger? I don't want the finger. I want there's the pen, normal drawing. Oh, all right, let's just go to this. Well, now what happens? Okay, now let's go talk about the evaluations or whatever. This is a very sticky subject for most people because they think about passing evaluations has everything to do with your trade methodology, and it really doesn't. I have 2 friends. My friend Steve works for a brokerage firm. My friend John is a floor trader, is a professional floor trader. And I talk to him all the time, and I ask him, what do professional traders do? He says, honestly, he says, we don't worry about, let's see how I want to put this. He says, we don't worry about how much money we can make. We only worry about how much money we could lose. And if we manage our trades properly and manage our risk properly, the profits will take care of themselves. That's why a lot of floor traders are called risk managers, because they're managing people's risk. So don't focus on the carrot, focus on the process. Like it says, focus on trading well. Focus on your charts, focus on your setups. You know, if you get a setup, you got to take the trade, right? Win, lose, or draw, because you can't pick and choose what setup you're going to take. Yeah, maybe there's a few times that, you know, I've passed on a trade because there was something I didn't like about it or whatever, and that's okay. It's okay to pass on a trade if you don't like it. But when we have a good setup, we take them, because if you pick and choose, you're going to pick most of the losers and you're going to let the winners fly by. And that's why I really like the algorithm, the auto trader, is because it doesn't think. It just follows your rules that you set up. So if you focus on trading well, the profits will take care of themselves. The challenges or valuations, or whatever they're called in your particular firm are really designed to make you fail because of the parameters they put in place, like how many trading days to pass. If you get a $50,000 account and you pass it in one day, a lot of the firms now are doing 1-day passes, and the trailing drawdown. So the trailing drawdown is the biggest thing that most people have a problem with. So this is my process when I take a trade. First of all, my max risk is 10% of my drawdown. So if I get a $50,000 account, you're not trading $50,000, okay? If you have 10 $50,000 accounts, you're trading $500,000? Not really. You're trading your drawdown, all right? That's the way I look at it. I have a $2,500 account and I'm trading my drawdown. And my max risk per trade is 10%, which is $250. So for instance, when we trade NQ, we have to trade MNQ and we have to trade 6 micros, because 6 micros will keep me with a 40 tick stop, will keep me within my risk parameter, right? So I put this chart in here because I want you to see the win rate versus reward. So if you're a 1-to-1 trader, means that you must be 60% win rate to be profitable. Now, if you're a 2-to-1 trader, it drops drastically, which means you only have to have a 40% win rate, which is what most professional traders are running, between 30 and 40% win rate. That means that you could be wrong 6 out of 10 times and still make money. If you're a 3-to-1 trader, means you could lose on 7 out of 10 trades and still make money. So I'm like in between 3-to-1 and 2-to-1. I'm closer to 3-to-1. So I don't worry about it because my win rate is over 70%. So rather than avoid risk, take intelligent risk, and this will give you a competitive edge. Just like this mouse. Now, I named this mouse Rory. This is a mouse Rory. He wants that piece of cheese, but he's aware of his risk of this thing coming over and hitting him in the head. So he managed his risk and put on his helmet. And this is a competitive edge. All right, so now you have 2 choices. The first option would be nothing and continue on your current path, whether you're struggling or you're not struggling. I know that when I first saw the webinar that Mark Sachs did, I was like, it was like that proverbial light bulb went off in my head, and I said, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I only have to look at one chart and it's giving me all the information on one chart. So I bought it. The second option would be take action today and join the thousands of traders who work 4 hours a day from home and have no boss and total financial freedom. I run the trading room from 9 to 11. We trade for 2 hours a day. So the Money Flow Tracker trading system, the benefits and features. It's easy to learn. You get all the workspaces and everything. It's perfect for beginners. It's perfect for any account size. And you can trade Forex, futures, stocks, you can trade cryptos, you can trade anything with it. I got to fix this slide too. All right, let's keep going. What was that? Something's not right here. Okay, so for the first 10 traders that come aboard today, we have some powerful additional software as a quick action bonus. First thing you get is the market scanner. So what the market scanner does is it tells you, hey, Apple, if I'm trading Apple on a 15-minute, says, hey, go look at Apple's 15-minute chart. You have a potential setup. Potential setup. All right? Doesn't mean you have exact setup. It means go look at it. You'll get this as $9.99 value. part of your package. You'll get the NDT. Now, this is what we use to enter and exit trades. It's a strategy, right? You put your account here, your order type, and your ATM. And we just one button click, buy on up close or sell on down close. That's 14. You'll get the masterclass series on futures, forex, stocks, and options. These are really good, well done. I've watched these. You get 1 month in my trade room, all right? So our trade rooms were part of a study by this Dr. Victor Allen, and he conducted a 4-year evaluation looking at 28,000 historical trade records and 15,000 blah, 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 blah. Okay, in his study, he reviewed more than 225 trading websites and evaluated them using several factors, including transparency, proven track record, and assisting traders with educational materials and online support. And we came out on top. And this was published in Traders World and Stock and Commodities magazine. And we're really proud of this. So here's our special offer for today, is to do a quarterly subscription is $597. We're giving 50% off. You have to use coupon code SAVE 50%. We're doing 50% off on each one of our subscriptions, or a one-time payment for a lifetime. So for $597, you can do a quarterly. For $1197, you can do a yearly. Now the quarterly and the yearly come with 1 month of my room. If you do the lifetime, you'll get 3 months of my room. Now the lifetime was $39.94. Now it's $19.97. The annual was $23.94. Half of that is $11.97, and the quarterly was $11.94, $597. So here's my commitment to you when you subscribe. Yes, Muhammad, you will get a recording. Everybody will get a recording. All right? So my commitment to you is, when you subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker software, is to help you become a successful trader. Remember, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. Again, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. You're just not using the right tools to be successful. So the analogy that I like to use, that most people can understand and identify with, especially guys, it's like trying to pound a nail into a piece of wood with the handle of a screwdriver, right? Yeah, if you sit there long enough, you'll hit it, it'll go in. But if you use the right tool, the hammer, 1 or 2 shots with a hammer and it's done, right? You don't have to sit there pounding and pounding and pounding it. So, you know, the Money Flow Tracker software really is totally unique, and will give you that edge to trade with institutional order flow. So again, my commitment to you is to teach you not just how to read the setups. Reading the setups is the easiest part of it. I mean, I've taught thousands of traders over the years. I've been doing this room, for the last four years. And I could teach a 5-year-old, 2-year-old to read this, maybe not 2 years old, but maybe 3 or 4-year-old to read the setups, you know, but to help you develop that mental mindset you must have in order to achieve financial independence. You know, trading is much more mental than anything. What kind of physical thing do you have to do? Take your finger and push a button? That's what pretty much it. So it has a lot of mental parts of it, and you really have to have that under control in order to, you can't freak out if you have a losing trade. You can't get all pissed off. You can't throw your keyboard, throw your mouse, you know, whine and cry about it. You know what? It's part of trading. That's why they call it trading. It's part of it. You take losses, and you have to be able to just let them roll off your back. If you have a correct setup, and you take the trade, then whatever happens, happens. All right, whatever happens, happens. All right, let's go. All right, so if you would like to purchase the software, I got to go back 1 slide. If you go to the chat part of the GoToWebinar control panel, the chat window, not the questions window, there is a link in there, and I'm going to click on this link. And it's going to bring you to this page, right? And all you have to do is scroll down here. Now, we normally were giving 25% off, but for you guys, we're giving you 50% off. So you just click sign up, And you have to put the coupon code, save 50%. Oh, what was that? Save 50%. Click apply. And bingo bongo. $23.94. 50% off $11.97. You're going to be paying $11.97. And next year when you renew in July of 2026, you're going to pay $11.97 also. So it's not like we're going to charge you $11.97 this year and we're going to charge you full price next year. No, you're going to get the same price next year as you paid this year, right? And you'll get the money flow tracker. You'll have Charles will install everything for you. You'll get the Revolutions Auto Trader, the NDT, the Masterclass series, and 1 month in my trade room. And that's it. You fill all your information out and we'll contact you. We'll set up an appointment with Charles and we'll get you up and running, right? So let's keep going. So anybody that has questions or would like to speak with us, instead of just doing their purchase on the website, put your name and your phone number in the questions box and we'll be happy to give you a call and you can ask as many questions as you want. And if you want to do your purchase over the phone, you can do it that way. All right. All right, so let's keep going because I still have more to go. All right. So it's a well-known fact that 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders are losing money. Let's like this guy here. Obviously, he's a retail trader. He might as well just flush his money down the toilet. My friend Steve that works at a brokerage firm told me, he said, you know, he says, we see this all the time. A trader will come in, he'll fund his account with $5,000 or $10,000, and within a month or so, a few weeks, a month or so, they've blown the account, right? Well, if you know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade with them? Like I said earlier, we don't. We want to trade with institutional traders. Our traders are making money. Why? Because if the retail trader is losing money, somebody's taking it from them. Institutional traders. My friend Steve says that institutional traders call retail traders the guppies. And I said, why is that? He says, because they're easy to pick off. You know, they do stop runs, they do all this stuff. They're easy to pick off. They can't pick off the institutional traders as much because they trade such big quantities, you know? And our traders, we trade with institutional money flow. So again, we're giving 50% off each subscription. All right, Paul, Rory will give you a call after the webinar with each subscription. So don't miss out on this great promotion. So this is a recording, let me go back to here, of a bunch of our traders. People gave it that have been trading with us, testimonies, but I really want to talk about this particular woman. Let me see, where is it? So she has a friend that's in my trade room, and she asked him to teach her how to trade. She was going to buy the software and he teach her to trade. And he was like, you know, I would really prefer for you to contact Mark or whatever and have them teach you, because he didn't want to be responsible if she lost money, and I can understand that. So she contacted Mark, and Mark said, okay, I'll help you, no problem. She went into the office. She lives down by his office, and he sat her down in front of a computer, and for 4 months, all she did was look at the setups, and when you have everything lined up with a green background, click buy on up close. And we have everything lined up with a dark pink background, click on down close. She did that for 4 months. Now she is a 6-figure trader. And I asked her, I spoke to her on the phone. I said, so do you trade every day? And her answer was, Mr. David, if I don't have no setup, I don't take no trade, period. I said, great, because that's exactly what we do. All right. So here is a Trustpilot that somebody wrote in about me and my trading room. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he said, but I've been trading for 25 years, and I honestly say the money flow tracker system, one of the smartest tools I've added to my toolbox. The layout of a single chart gives me everything I need at a glance, right? So here's a guy that was very impressed in May of 2025. Barry, I know who he is. He's a great trader now. He was a struggling trader for a long time, and now he's making money pretty consistently. This was a email written to Rightline from David P. Now, David P. has been in my room for a long time, since I've been doing it. So he was in a webinar just like you were, and he said to me, I am the world's worst trader. He wrote it in the questions box. I'm the world's worst trader, but I like what I see. If I buy the software, will you help me? So I agree. I said, sure. Why not? Why wouldn't I help you? I help everybody, right? So he says here, I started watching David's trading room every morning and learning trading methodology and his rules. We only take specific setups. When he followed rules, we have a 70% win rate. I now have 7 accounts at Apex and 7 accounts at Buell Knox. Well, now he has 20 accounts at Apex and 10 accounts at Buell Knox, and he's got accounts in some other places too, right? So then he goes on and says here, the money flow tracker software, along with David's methodology and rules for trading, allow me to act like a robot and eliminate any guesswork or emotions from my trading. We also use a trading tool called the NDT, which I just showed you, which is a single push button trade to enter the trade. When we see a correct setup, the following rules. So every day he looks at it as simple. See setup, push the button. See the setup, push the button. See the setup, push the button. Then a few weeks ago, he wrote me in the questions box, so I took a quick screenshot of it. See David P. $4,265. Only trade 4 accounts that day because the markets were really choppy. And he left and he quit for the day. He made $4,265 and he left for the day. And he was only in the room for an hour and 6 minutes. That's not a bad hourly rate, $4,265. All right, so here's our offer again, 50% off the quarterly, 50% off the annually, and one-time payment, 50% off lifetime. So again, like I said earlier, if you have any questions or you would like to speak with us before you make your purchase, leave your name and phone number in the questions box, and Rory will give you a call right after the webinar. And you can ask as many questions as you want. You have no obligation to purchase. We're not going to call you back 30 times. We don't have time for that, and we don't really need to do that. If you say you're not interested, you're not interested. Maybe one day you will be. You know, after some more frustration in the market, you'll probably be interested. Believe me, I've had plenty of people that came back and said they weren't interested, and they wish they would have bought it when I was doing the webinar. And that's it. That's all I got. Any questions? Any questions? I'm going to open up a chart here, and I'm going to put the bar size and the template on for the auto trader. I want to show you guys something here. Where is it? Got too many templates here. Here we go. MAQ swing trade. Okay. Wow, I never had a chart load up that quick. I just added 64 megs of memory to my new computer. Okay. I don't know what these are. Maybe because this isn't set on an account. Okay. So look, let's look at a couple trades here. We still got some time. So this was on Friday. So in my trading desktop, it took this trade here and it exited here, 212 ticks. Took a whole 10:50. It exited at 2 o'clock. I would have probably been out before then. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. Easier to me to do this way. This trade it wouldn't take because you have a pivot here. And you didn't have everything green below us. This trade here would have taken this trade here. Actually, it wouldn't have, and I don't think there's 81 ticks to this pivot. No, it wouldn't have taken the trade there. It would have taken the trade here. and it went down a total of 153 ticks. So made a little bit of money on that trade, not much. Probably would have maybe made about 50 bucks, whatever, right? Let's look at a couple more real quick that I have data here. Add a little bit more. I want to show you what, the charts and everything. I want to show you what, the setups look like and some of the trades that the auto trader took. Let's go here. Okay. This it wouldn't have taken. This trade here was in the evening, and honestly, in the evenings have been some great trading in the evenings. All right, let's just go by, look at a couple more. Okay, so here's one. Now this was at 8 o'clock at night. I don't trade then, so I'm not even gonna look at it. This was at the open. This trade started right here. The first candle that had the C2 would cleared the pivot. So this went up here, and if we exited on line change, 522 ticks. 522 ticks. That's a pretty good amount of ticks there. All right. That's all I got. So I look forward to, hold on, Rory's still wants to tell me something here. He says, I want you to welcome Alan, George, Mohammed, Stephen, and Paula, and I can't pronounce Maria. He says, welcome them to the Money Flow Tracker software. And I look forward to working with you in the trade room, and it won't take you long to get up to speed because I've been told I've been a really good teacher. So that's all I got for you. If you're still interested, put your name and your phone number in the questions box, and that will keep your spot to get all the extra bonuses like the auto trader and everything else. All righty. So I kept the webinar to within an hour, and I appreciate everybody for attending, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the trade room. So if you're looking for a system that's easy to learn and easy to trade with and will keep you out of the market when the markets are choppy, you've come to the right place. So have a great rest of your day, and I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Take care and bye-bye.